Nearly on 7,000 miles on the CB125, 1 year old. I've just given it a really good clean and this is what it looks like, but we haven't finished yet. There's a few parts on this bike that need a decent clean, and it's somewhere that not many people clean on their motorbikes, but we're going to have a look at that in just a moment. I still haven't finished. I've got to do the battery box, the air filter box, and also we've got to have a look at the exhaust, because if you look at the exhaust here, it's a bit rusty and it's not black anymore, so we're going to sort that out probably in another video, show you how we do that. In this video we're going to be looking at the underside of the CB125. We've cleaned most of it. We haven't cleaned under there where the foot peg bar goes in, and that's held on by 4 bolts, as you can see there, and soon we'll be removing the foot pegs by removing them 4 bolts. As you can see, the foot peg bar goes from the left hand side of the motorbike to the right hand side of the motorbike, and it has 2 big rubber foot positions that you can put your feet on when you're riding along. As you can see, it's pretty dirty under there, and that's a potential point that's going to start rotting on the bike in later years, so we're going to deal with that when we take the center stand off in another video. Now, the side stand is connected to the bar that holds the foot pegs, and there's some things we have to take off there, like the spring and also the switch, which is an interlock to stop you starting the engine and driving off with the side stand down. And there is the switch with 2 cables coming out the back. We'll be disconnecting that shortly. Now, the wires for the switch are retained using some clever little wire clips, which you can see on the top left hand of the video there as we pan down towards the side stand, which is looking in a bit of a sorry state as well. It looks like it's rusting quite a bit, that, and obviously we're going to look at this in another video, but let's just have a quick look at that stand and see how bad that is after 1 year. Now, obviously the paint has come off on the bottom part of that, and rust is starting to rust there, and it's starting to rust on this top piece as well. If that was left over the next couple of years, that would start to rot, and then you'd have a bit of a problem with the center stand. It would take a bit of while before that happens, but let's get that cleaned up, painted and fixed so we don't have that issue. Now, before we take the pegs off, we have to disconnect the switch, which is the interlock to stop you riding off with a side stand down, and there it is. There's a plug there with 2 little connections in it, and we also have to remove this spring, but we'll do that once we get the side stand off. So here's the 4 bolts. We're going to undo them. It's a 12mm socket you need here. Undo the 4 bolts with your 12mm socket, and while we're taking them off, let's just have a look on the left hand side of the frame there. You can see the brake pedal, which controls your back brake, is actually rusting as well, and that's pretty bad. It's rusting on the bottom, and that's where all the water and the rubbish is kicking up onto that. Now, I will do a video showing how that is removed and how we make it back into a good, perfect condition. We'll clean it all up and spray it, and in that video I'll show you how the linked braking works on the CB125. The front and rear brakes, when you press the brake pedal on the CB125, it also automatically applies some braking on the front of the motorbike, and it does it in quite a clever way, I think so anyway. And in that video I'll show you how that's done, and we'll just give it a little bit of service, see if it needs any attention on the greasing or something like that. We'll have a look at that and see how we go. So we've got 2 of the bolts out. We've only got 2 more to go, and you can see the exhaust there is rusting, but that's normal. That's not going to be a problem. That down tube there is pretty thick, and it should be no problem where it is. That's quite normal to leave that. We're not going to paint that or do anything with it. But the exhaust, when we do that, we've got some high temperature black paint, and we're going to repaint it with that. So when you remove the foot pegs, you'll see here you won't be able to get it past the exhaust because of the rubber foot that's on there, And also I forgot here, the cables for the switch are still wrapped around the little retaining wires which I mentioned earlier, and that's how you get them off out of there. So make sure you remove them first, and when you remove them you can take it out. Make sure the exhaust is cold, that's quite obvious I think, but this is how you have to get it out. Take it to the rear of the bike, then you have to turn it 180 degrees, you will see in a moment, 180 degrees, and it comes out quite easily. So from there you can see the 4 bolts we've taken out, and we're going to clean all that under there before we put the foot pegs back on. So the first thing we're going to do on the bench is remove the spring. You can see here the spring there is in its maximum length. Now it's on its minimum length, and this is the length that you want it, so it's got less tension on it when you try to remove it from the pin that's on the top of the spring there. And this is how we're going to go about that. Get a bit of nylon rope, thin nylon rope like here. This is basically an old washing line, I think. I've had it for quite a while. It's just a bit of nylon. You can use anything here as long as you wrap it around the spring or the hook on the end of the spring and tie it around the foot peg bar. You want to make sure that once you've done that, you don't have it wrapped around the pin. It has to be only on the spring itself, as you can see here. And once you have that, what you need now is one of the bolts that was holding the foot peg bar on the bike, and a big screwdriver as a lever. So if you put the screwdriver through the loop you made and put it against the bolt that you put into the hole there, and do exactly what I've done there, that will make that come off very, very easily. And if you watch that again, and you'll see how easy that was to remove, and we'll use the same method when we put that back on. The other thing we need to remove is the switch for the side stand, and we're going to do that with an 8mm socket. And once we take that off, we only have to take the actual side stand off from the actual foot peg bar, and we'll do that last. Once we've removed all these parts, we're going to clean them all up, ready for reassembly. So here is the switch. There is a pin on the back of this switch which locates into the side stand. Make sure you don't snap that off, because that activates the switch which closes the electrical contact to tell the bike that your side stand is down. So the final thing to do before we clean it is to remove the side stand itself. And to do that we need a 17mm socket like the one here. So get your 17mm socket and undo the nut, which is a locking nut, on the side stand pin. And once this is removed, we can then unscrew the pin from the side stand itself, and that can then be removed. Now the pin is held in by a 14mm socket you'll need to get on there to take it out. It should be really loose actually, it shouldn't really be tight this, so it should just come out quite easily. So let's get that out and let's get it all apart and put on the bench and make sure we get all the parts ready for cleaning. Now in the next video, part 2, we will take all these parts which will be previously cleaned, because I'm not going to do a video of cleaning the parts. You can use any cleaning method you like to clean this, as long as you make sure you don't submerge that switch in any water or cleaning chemicals. Leave it completely as it is, just wipe it clean. So here is the pin. As you can see, it's threaded on one end and the center part is not threaded. This is the part that the side stand rotates, so it has to be smooth. So there we have the side stand removed, and we're now going to go away and clean all the parts. We've got the spring here, we'll put that back on. We've got the switch, make sure you don't put any water in that, and all the relevant nuts and bolts we're going to clean and get them ready for reassembly in the second video, which is part 2.